there's one person in the NFL that I am going to give a pass to. Want to take a guess at who that is?
Tom Brady.
Why would I give Tom Brady a pass to?
I don't know. I just felt like this was going to go into a GOAT talk.
No, just go ahead. Take a guess. Who do you think I'm giving the pass to?
They're in the playoffs?
No,
No.
The Cincinnati
singular.
Bengals.
No, a singular
They're
player.
not in the playoffs.
Singular player.
Brent, I don't know, dude.
You got to.
Quarterback
Oh, it's
just got bounced from the playoffs last night.
Rodgers.
I'm giving a pass to Aaron Rodgers for this season. I don't understand the hate. I don't understand what people, expected from this season, but as the season played out, not before the season. But as the season played out, I mean, this dude, Rodgers was dealing with a fractured thumb since week 5. He injured his oblique somewhere in that time frame too. And I think he also injured his ribs in that time frame as well. So this guy was dealing with 3 injuries at 38 years old now. And he was dealing with a brand new cast of characters in
39.
Dobbs and 39. Dobbs and Christian Watson. Randall Cobb coming back, who's not what he used to be. The offensive line, especially the tackles, being in and out of lineup, and Bakhtiari especially not playing up to the par that you expected. Matt LaFleur not, calling the offense the right way until about, I don't know, 13 weeks into the season where they had to basically win out to get into the playoffs, where they started being like, oh, wait, we have 2 pretty damn good running backs. Maybe we should lean on them more. And then obviously John's issues with Joe Barry and the defense, he started getting it together late in the season. I'm giving Aaron Rodgers a pass this season. I mean, just that list, the laundry list that I just gave you of things that he had to deal with this season. The down season is fine, and I honestly I expect Aaron Rodgers to be back as a Green Bay Packer next year, because I think that he is, like I've said, I think he's built the foundation with these receivers, and I think that they're starting to find. So Christian Watson is becoming a player in this league. He has got that skill. Dobbs is a very good player. Hopefully, he can stay healthy and cut those drops off. He is very good physical player. Uh, so I expect them to, fix a couple of things, fix a little holes, and I'm giving Aaron Rodgers a pass this season.
That connection with Jordan Love and those receivers, it's going to be a movie.
The thing is, I'm with you, Brandon, with the weapons getting the better over the year. And I do also agree that I believe Aaron Rodgers will be in Green Bay next season. But I don't feel like those weapons are enough. We need
Well, they got
we
to
need
retool. They got to retool.
yeah, they absolutely have to because at this point, Rodgers is what, 38, 39?
39, he just said.
Yeah, 39, pushing 40. If you're gonna stick with a quarterback at that age, you gotta invest in them. I mean, Tom Brady didn't get that in New England, and that's one of the main reasons he left. So you gotta surround the quarterback, especially at that age. Get him the talent to get him to a Super Bowl. You can't just sit here and say, "Oh, I drafted this receiver. I'm gonna wait 2, 3 years for him to develop." No, that's not how it works, man. You got to go out there and get somebody. You already got rid of Devontae. Uh, you got to bolster that offense.
Well, Justin, I've said this multiple times to you guys. Every NFL team and every sports team has a window. That window has closed in Aaron Rodgers. It's over.
I don't think so.
It's done. Why
I
would you
can't
build
say
around
that.
a 39-year-old quarterback when you invested a first round pick, trade up to get a first round talent,
Because they don't
and you
believe in
still
Jordan Love, John. How many times we got to tell you that they don't believe in Jordan Love? How many times does somebody have to slap you in the face before you realize you've been slapped in the face? Seriously.
the Jordan Love
Yeah, I
disrespect
just ignore exactly what I just said because
I
you
love
know
how
it's
he
facts.
freezes.
He
despicable.
ignores what I just said because you know
Absolutely
it's facts.
despicable. Jordan Love is a project coming out of college. He needed time to season, learn against NFL defenses, and he got years behind Aaron Rodgers. You play the numbers game with these quarterbacks, you look at that opportunity he had behind a Hall of Famer, I think he's going to come in a lot better for that. So why would you not give him a full season? He was a first-round quarterback, and you're going to judge him off a game at Arrowhead Stadium in his first ever NFL start? Or better yet, how he looks in preseason.
You're
Right?
judging Sam Howell on his first ever NFL start, saying he could be
Yeah, and
using
he
a
looked
special
encouraging.
arm.
He
Oh,
backed up what I thought coming
well,
out the
that's what I'm
draft,
saying.
BC.
You can't have it both
Touche.
ways. You want to know the reason why they're not is because they just signed Aaron Rodgers to a major contract last offseason, John. He's coming off of back-to-back MVP seasons.
And that doesn't have much to do with the young, up-and-coming quarterback that's set under the wings now.
It has 100% everything to do with them. Why would they re-sign Aaron Rodgers if they wanted to go with Jordan Love?
Do you think it's fair to judge a quarterback, though, BC, who has, guess how many NFL starts? Do you know how many starts Jordan Love has in the big leagues?
2, 3? Okay. Well, you judge people all the time on one game. So I don't know what to do. You said Tua was a top 10 quarterback. You think
And I made a
you
mistake.
said Jalen Hurts is an elite thrower of the football for one
If you
season. So
include the preseason this year, Jordan Love had more starts. I made a mistake there. I thought Jordan Love had 3 starts. Brandon, Jordan Love has had 1 start in the NFL.
should
One
I
start.
should I go
He
off
didn't
of
get a
your
single start this
mentality or
season.
should I think for myself? Because your mentality is, I mean, I don't know. Either Jordan Love, you're like, well, we're not going to judge him on that one game. But Sam Howell, I mean, did you see him against the Cowboys? He had a special arm and this, but they're two
Not every
different.
quarterback, buddy, is a one-size-fits-all approach. Jordan Love was a project that needed time. Going up against
Sam
Steve
Howell's not
Spagnuolo, going up against Steve Spagnuolo and one of the better defenses at Arrowhead in your first ever NFL season,
Cowboys.
you have no chemistry with Devontae Adams. That's a pretty tall task. And Jordan Love nearly beat the Chiefs in that game. He nearly beat Patrick Mahomes. That was pretty encouraging. We've seen a lot of good, and we've seen a lot of things he can work on. Win a full season of games where he can learn from his own tape, see what he's missing, and how to build off of that, further enhance his development.
No, I'd rather go with Aaron Rodgers. I'd rather go with Aaron Rodgers. Yeah.
Say it again?
I said I'd rather go with Aaron Rodgers.
I'd rather go with Aaron
Do you
Rodgers for
think
the
Aaron
simple
Rodgers?
fact.
Let's ask him this. Do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to fall off a cliff next season?
Aaron Rodgers could retire tomorrow, buddy.
All right, but we're going off the assumption that he's going to stay.
There is no assumption. We do not know. It's Aaron Rodgers, one of the most eccentric athletes.
Literally, this entire episode has been hypotheticals. All right, so either make up your mind.
I just told you. Aaron Rodgers could retire this offseason.
Yeah.
If he plays next season, what kind of Aaron Rodgers do you think we see?
He's not a quarterback that's carrying the Packers to the playoffs. He didn't this season.
So you
Because he's been dealing with
don't
the
think
injury.
you think Aaron Rodgers' top 10 days are behind him?
Not necessarily, but this
No, but a
division
top 10
is
quarterback.
becoming one of the best in the NFL. The Lions
Yeah,
are
but a top 10
the Vikings just
quarterback.
won 13 games, and the Bears next season are a candidate to jump up to 6, 7, 8 wins. The
A
Bears
top
are
10
team
quarterback
geared
is
up
going
as
to lead a team towards a playoff appearance, I would say.
the Lions are the
capable.
best team in the NFC North. The Vikings are the second best team, and the Packers are the third.
Mhm.
And with no
Oh, that-
pressure by ownership,
I don't know about
change,
that.
there's a pretty real case next season. We don't see a whole lot of change in the offseason.
I'll be honest with you. I honestly believe that, and while the records don't show it, I'd put the Vikings third on that list. I've always said, and even Brandon have had skepticism on the Vikings all season long, pointing at the guy under center. I think the Packers showed you what they did to the Vikings a couple weeks ago. I think that's the real truth.
This is where, like, I mean, John. So are you going to completely ignore like what happened this season with Rodgers, 3 injuries, the new receivers and all that stuff? You're going to just ignore that?
You're gonna ignore the older you get, the longer it takes to recover from injuries.
I
It's
just
not like
asked
he's
you a
spring
direct
chicken.
question. Are you going to ignore that or not?
I'm acknowledging that he's getting older, and so those injuries are going to come more and more. So that's not a.
How do you know? I mean, Tom Brady, it didn't.
Tom Brady is one of one, buddy.
All right. So you're going off the assumption again. So you're going off the assumption that Aaron Rodgers is going to fall. That this Aaron Rodgers we saw this season is more inclined of what we're going to see later on. You
Yes.
think Aaron Rodgers is basically done?
No, I just don't
Yes, you
think
do.
the Packers.
Was Aaron Rodgers' season this season top 10? This guy had a 39 QBR. 39 QBR. He didn't throw for over 300 yards once this season. So I mean, what are we going to talk about? So I mean, you're basically saying you think Aaron Rodgers should walk away. He's done, and he's just not what he used to be. That's it. You don't think he can carry a
No.
team. So then what's the purpose of him being on an NFL roster if he can't
I
do
think
that?
the Lions have a much better supporting cast for Jared
Well,
Goff.
we're talking
And
about the
so
Packers, like
in
you
this
just say to me.
division,
We're talking about the Packers.
next season, the Packers are not going to win more games with this team than Lions. And I also think the Vikings are another team as well who probably going to win 9 games. The Packers are not a candidate to just jump up. Rodgers can be a top 10 quarterback and still miss the playoffs.
I think the hot side of the Packers is more along the lines of what they should have been this year. What we saw towards the tail end of the season is the Packers we were all expecting to see, and I think that's more likely what we'll see next season. With what Brandon said, another year under the belt with these receivers, potential moves in the offseason. This Packers team is better than the Vikings. And Ken, I would say, yeah, I'm with you. I think the Lions supporting cast is a lot better, especially on the offensive side of the ball. But I think the Packers can instantly, with a couple of moves, go from right here to right there.
I
You
just
know,
think that's a pretty mute point because that never happens, that next move. It never has happened. Why will it
But
this
like,
offseason?
but like, but
And to
like,
talk about week 18, we
we're
saw it.
talking about a team that didn't make the playoffs now. So this is not making the playoffs. This is a team that can win the division. That can happen.
But it's the same old
Christian
Packers.
Watson
There's
can have a
no
jump.
owner. The general manager has he actually had a pretty good draft the way it developed. Outside of Quay Walker not being able to control his anger, generally speaking, I think it's a pretty good case next year for the Packers. Brian Gutekunst is still the GM. And that's the same guy who has been rumored to make many moves. And the biggest move he made this year was what move? None. Okay, so
All
you
right,
can
but
talk
like
about the Packers making the next move. It's not going to happen.
Christian Watson has become a real player in this league. Dobbs is making progress.
You
Like you're
just said
not.
before that wasn't enough with their injuries.
No. I'm talking next season. They're going. So you think that they're just going to be the same players? You don't think they're going to make any jumps whatsoever as individual players next season?
I think the Packers can improve.
No, I'm
And
talking about those two players
they
individually.
can, and that's still
Okay,
not going to
then.
move the needle with the Lions and the Vikings. It just won't.
I don't know where you
And
believe the
so we
Vikings all of
all
a
know the
sudden have a
Packers
worse
Super Bowl
defense
window
than
is
the Packers. They have a worse defense than the Packers.
the Lions
The
defense.
Vikings.
Oh, the Vikings,
The
that's true.
Lions are iffy. The Lions
Ed
can come and
Donatello
go.
could be gone next season, and
The
that
Lions
Vikings
in their
defense
totality, John. The Lions in totality have been a terrible defense.
and the
Terrible.
Lions in totality swept the Packers this season.
That's fine.
So
That's only the second
I'm
time it's
trying to
ever
tell you
happened in Aaron
guys,
Rodgers'
you can
entire
talk
career.
yourself into Green Bay. It's over. It's done.
It's not.
You're holding on to
They were just
something.
about to be in the playoffs.
And
They were
guess what
just about to
happened in
be in
the
the
biggest
playoffs.
game of their season? At home.
Yeah, they lost because of turnovers. It came down to two turnovers. That's it. That was deciding the game. Two turnovers decided that game. That's it. You take away one of those turnovers, they don't lose that game. It was two turnovers that decided that game. You're going to tell me anything different than you didn't watch the same game I did. Because it was a close ass game until the first fumble and then the interception that basically sealed it. And the interception that sealed it was not Aaron Rodgers' fault. He was getting pressured and he threw it up, and the defender made a great play. So again, I mean, inches, John. You're really not looking at the whole picture. The one game away from being in the playoffs after a team that was what 4-8 at one point. I, I, I don't know, man.